Little Ace trying to attack me now. Yeah. Okay, this is really messed up, but we're gonna do it. He's coming after me. I think his range is so far. I can't hit him. I'm gonna try that again. Hey, so I'm Matt with Schematical, and here's your update on ChaosCraft. This week, we're doing something a little differently, is I'm bringing in clips that someone else did, that I didn't do, someone else that's running ChaosCraft and simulating it on their own YouTube channel. Their name is Snake Slime, and you should check it out on their channel too, but here's a little quick clip of what he's doing over there.
Hello! How are you doing? I'm once again back, and today I'll be doing ChaosCraft to become human, basically. I'm trying to make them go in a certain direction. I'll do that. So I'm making them travel in this direction. ChaosCraft is basically just few training bots for Minecraft, and they might eventually learn something useful. Like today I made hobo murder bots that actually did not care about all that much, they just wanted to exterminate everything. The bots are dumb. Please dig block. Why are they standing in a place? That is not cool, please don't do that. I don't support that. Okay, so yeah, they do get points for mining dirt. And why the hell did they spawn like that? That is not normal. Oh no. The bots are going crazy. Oh my god. They started digging blocks because they realized, hey, if we dig blocks, we get points. And then this dude just ran here because he realized that if he runs in x-axis, he gets to the checkpoint. That is really amazing. To be honest, I'm gonna do some parkour, okay? Is that fine with y'all?
If you're interested in showing off your work, if you're running ChaosCraft and you want to show off what you're doing with it, your experiments, post it in the ChaosCraft Showcase channel. And I'm going to try and showcase a little bit of somebody else's creations each week, because you guys are doing some really cool stuff with this, things I never really thought of. So thank you. The next part I'm going to talk about is the compression I did. So a lot of people were seeing some 502 errors and some 413 errors. That just means that the payloads got too big. The neural nets got too complex. I did a video on this a little while ago. Well, I actually managed to compress the neural nets to about 1/10, 1/5 to 1/10 of their original size. Here's how I did it. So this is my billing dashboard, just to be completely transparent with you guys. You can see it's gone up over the last couple months, and in reality it was down to like $100 before that. So we can just swap out $100, we'll say, because that's just the Schematical website and some other basic things like that. And we have here, you can see it's creeping up. So that means ChaosNet is costing about $265 a month. And a big chunk of that's data transfer. This actually, it's scary because this went up $45 since I looked at it just last week, which is great that people are using it. But at the same time, we've got some trouble. And data transfer is how much information is going in and out of Amazon's cloud on ChaosNet's behalf. That's the stuff that gets sent to your computer. So I had to get tricky and figure out a way to compress down the data size, so we're not sending nearly as much information. I'm curious to see how effective this is, but here's what I did. I was able to slim down the payload size to about 15% of what the original size was. So the regular size uncompressed one is 21,000 bytes, and the slim version is 3,000 bytes. So here's what an original neural net looks like. So it's got a bias neuron, a weight, which oddly enough is stored as a string for some reason. That's not supposed to be. It has the dependencies in there, even if it doesn't have any dependencies. Base type, unique string, which isn't really required for this. And again, that's another neato thing you might want to look up. It's got some debug information. All this stuff was getting sent back and forth. Well, in the slim version, you could see a lot of these names have been compressed down to one letter, 1 or 2 letters in some cases. Weight is now rounded off and made into an integer. The neuron ID is just N instead of the word neuron ID. Well, dependencies are now D. If it doesn't have any dependencies, it doesn't send that over. There's no debug data. Problem is you can still see other things like target slot ID because that's not a ChaosNet specific term. That is a ChaosCraft term, and it's stored in the sim model. But I do intend to figure out a way to make a dictionary where we could send that to ChaosCraft, the client that's running on your machine, and it'll know what short versions become the long versions, and it only has to do that once per boot up, or probably once ever now that we've got the tags in there. And then it'll be able to decode every single neural net that comes through. So it'll let us compress it a lot tighter and have a lot less information going back and forth, which has the benefit, of course, of going faster, making it so you don't get those dreaded 413 errors that sometimes look like 502s, but I think I fixed that, where your neural nets are too big to send back and forth. And it'll save a lot of money on ChaosNet's side, because I really do want to keep offering the service for free as long as I can to as many people as I can. At the same time, for those of you guys interested in helping out on Patreon, again, that's amazing. I would love to do this full time as my job. I'd like to make ChaosNet and ChaosCraft and a million other games learn how to play and do whatever you guys are interested in. So every little bit helps. Thank you guys for supporting me on Patreon. And like I said, patrons, you guys are keeping this thing alive. I really do appreciate it. And I want to keep this basic setup as free as long as I can. And you know, eventually there's probably going to have to be some type of way to support this. Sponsors, hint, hint, you know. But Patreon guys, you guys are keeping me alive right now, because I definitely haven't hit that ad revenue number yet. If you're watching this in the future, hopefully I've hit it by then. I guess everybody's going to have to watch this in the future because I'm currently in the present. No time to debate that. Let's move on to the next thing. So the next thing is sim models. It's very technical. Again, if you want to skip ahead, you can, to the craziness that happened where I don't know what I was thinking when I tried to battle the bots, but let's do this. I lost. But yeah, sim models. Sim models, just to refresh everybody's memory, ChaosNet is a service that I built that runs, and it's basically like a big GitHub or Google Docs for neural nets, and it stores those for neat neural nets, specifically neural evolution of augmented topology. I've got plenty of videos on that on my channel. Go ahead and watch them if you don't know what I'm talking about. But a sim model defines the relationship between that and a simulation, such as ChaosCraft, which is an implementation of Minecraft. And occasionally I want to create different versions of that. For example, I want to create a sim model that's more optimized for teams, and another one that's more optimized for discovery, and another one that's more optimized for survival. I said, why should I be the only one that can create sim models? I want you guys to be able to fork the code base, because some people already are, and create your own input neurons and output neurons and have fun with it, and not have to worry about crossbreeding and all that stuff. Just say, I want an input that tells if the bot has recently turned in a circle. I want an input that can tell if the bot's holding a chicken, I don't know, with a leash. So you guys can actually add all that stuff if you're a coder. And if you're not a coder, well, this is exactly how you can set up your training rooms and train your own bots with no coding experience at all. So it should make for a lot more interesting behaviors long term, and a lot more people that can play around on ChaosNet and ChaosCraft. So without further ado, sim models. I don't know why I'm pointing over there. There's a mini fridge over there. So this is a sim model. A sim model basically defines how a simulation interacts with ChaosNet. ChaosNet doesn't really know the inputs and outputs of all the different things we could wire into it. So this defines that structure for them. So it can generate the neural nets using a modified version of NEAT, neural evolution of augmented topology, to generate neural nets for the organisms and simulate. This right here is how that is defined. It's a modified version which allows for commenting in it and commenting stuff out, because I always have to comment things in and out. But with the new tag system that I'm working on right now, we won't need to comment things out so much. I can just tag a version of it and then move on. And that record will always be saved, unless I delete the sim model. The first thing we've got here is config, but that's going to change the settings. So this allows us to define the settings that people will be able to set. One example of a setting I intend to add in the near future is what the bots start with. And that's specific to ChaosNet because it wouldn't be really relative to a lot of other sim models. Another thing that I intend to add pretty soon is the amount of time that each bot has to live can be set as a setting for each role, and a lot of other stuff. So let's kick it off. The first thing we've got is our fitness rules. First rule we've got here is health change. So this rule is actually wired into ChaosCraft. So if you look at the source code here and go into the entity and we search for health change, you can see that event right here, health change. And here's where we test it. But the only reason that ChaosNet knows that this health change event exists in the ChaosCraft mod is because we have defined it here as an event that people can then select and test against. So, for example, if I go to ChaosNet, hit ChaosNet, training rooms. I select one of my training rooms. I select the roles now. Just keep in mind we changed this recently, so now you have to create a role, so now you can train multiple roles. I can now set the fitness rules of that to have health change. So if anybody's interested, if you're a modder or programmer and you're interested in forking ChaosCraft and creating your own fitness functions, which others have, Cold Embrace actually has it, but they've got it hard-coded, but I want to make it easier for them. All these rules here can be defined in the sim model. They can even have variables. For example, attack success right there requires an entity ID, so you can specify a specific entity you want it to attack, like the chickens. So if I go here and I select attack success, it now requests that entity ID and it expects it to be an entity type. You can also specify block states, block types, items, item crafted, all sorts of stuff. But you guys will be able to write your own rules into here. Have users input their own settings in their own training room here, and then they'll be able to train without knowing how to program. So this will be a cool way for anybody with programming background to contribute if you're interested. Beyond just fitness functions, we also define the input neurons here. So for every single input neuron here, there's a class for it in Minecraft. For example, this is a bias input. If I go into ChaosCraft here, look in AI, look in inputs, we're going to see that bias input right away. We can also mark neurons as default, meaning that they start with them. These are usually neurons that don't require a block or an item, as those have not been observed yet. If you're not familiar with NEAT-O, Neat Observables, Neural Evolution of Augmenting Topologies Observable, then go check out my old video on NEAT-O. That's how I modified Neat to learn on the go. Here's an example of one that does require a block ID. So this is looking at, you can see it's not marked as default because we don't have block IDs yet when we start, and it's assigned to an eye. An eye is a biology bit, and I'll get into that in a second, but basically they all spawn with 10 eyes, and I'll show you exactly where I define that and where you guys can edit it and change that amount yourselves. Another example of some defaults I put in there are the yaw input, the yaw of the head input, and the pitch input, though those seem to be commented out right now. But you'll be able to uncomment them and use them if you like. The health input, the light input, all different inputs you guys can add yourself. Our output neurons are also defined here, and a lot of them are commented out. So some of our original outputs that we're not using currently, but I do intend to put back in different sim models, is the craft output, which chooses a recipe, and the equip output, which chooses an item. We've had these in there in the past. Since we use the action system, we haven't implemented them, but we will get them back in there in one form or another, which I can discuss later on a live stream if you guys want. One thing you might notice is that reserved keywords for ChaosNet and sim models start with a $sign. I still need to work on that a little bit more, and some of these are going to change. We're going to work on some documentation as soon as I can, but I try and reserve any keyword that's specific to ChaosNet with a $sign, and keywords that aren't specific to ChaosNet, they're specific to your model, are just normal attributes. So for example, source here, source is an observable attribute, and the attribute ID is an item ID, so it's an attribute, it's an item that they've observed in their environment. It'll pull from that pool there, versus this one will pull from the recipes that they've observed that they can craft. And of course, there's the jump output, the dig output, and the attack output. And for those of you guys that are following along hardcore, notice that all these are commented out right now because the raw actions have been exchanged for the action stuff. So for example, the target neural net, this is part of that target neural net. Anything that's got an eval group that specifies their specific neural net that's supposed to fire off in association with it. The item set score output, which I'm honestly not in love with. I went a little overkill there, I think. Target candidate set score output, all this. All right, let's jump to biology. So biology is a collection of attributes that the inputs and outputs can rely on, and a number of other things in your sim model. For example, this is an eye. It's basically a ray cast outwards. It has 10 of them because we specified they get 10 of them. And I could have changed this to a random number of them if I wanted to. It has an index, 0 to 9. That's how many eyes there are. It has a pitch, which is a random in between -45 and 45, and a yaw, which is between -90 and 90, and a max distance, which is between 2 blocks and 10 blocks. Now, this, again, lines up with some code in ChaosCraft. So again, if I go into ChaosCraft AI Biology, I can see there's an eye here. And that eye is expecting a pitch, a yaw, and a max distance. And it used that to figure out where it is in the world. And it pulls that information from the neural nets, which now have randomly generated eyes. It's somewhere in those ranges of pitches and yaws that I said. And it gets sent using this. Other examples are target slots and action target slots. Those are very important right now, being as we're using the action buffer system. Previously, at one point at the end of v0.2, I also had the bot's colors evolving, so they would be able to perceive different patterns and figure out if they were their species, and those would mutate over time. It was very colorful. Unfortunately, it did not work well on Windows. We also have an enumeration section. For example, we have an axis, okay, X, Y, and Z. And so right here, travel along axis is an enum right here. So that expects the attribute value when someone in that training room creates a rule for it, travel along axis, that will expect an X, Y, or Z. I don't know why that's not a drop down there, but I should probably make it one. Finally, we've got our activators, which are used when you create the various middle neurons and outputs, is what would fire it off to activate it. I did a video on activator functions a month or two ago, so please feel free to check that out. So that pretty much sums up the anatomy of a sim model. In the next couple weeks, I'm going to be working on an interface where people can fork existing sim models, modify them, and put in their own code. This is really important for anybody that wants to help contribute to this project or put their own project on here and try and get it to learn. I'm happy to help. For anybody that's got any questions, hop on the Discord and I will do my best to support you, as well as the community. They've been doing an amazing job. Thank you so much. All right. So hopefully sim models make sense. The interface I'm going to be working on over the next week or two should make it so you can edit it, fork it, tag it real simply, but I don't have that up yet. So I'm working on that next. So finally, the part that I'm guessing most of you guys are waiting for is the highlights from this week. Now keep in mind, I spent most of my time building out roles and sprinting through that. So it's not as clean of a simulation as I would have liked. I kind of was rushing last minute, but I did get the multi-skins in there, which was cool. And we had some fun. If you're interested in jumping on and contributing and interacting with me when I'm streaming, I have a Twitch channel that I do random Twitch streams on. And every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, I try and do a stream. So you should be able to see that and smash that bell icon if you want to get notified in case you forget. Also randomly, I'm wearing a hat because I've got mad coronavirus hair. So let me know what you think in the comments. Probably not about my hair. All right. TNT created this awesome maze for us that we are definitely going to use for hide and seek at some point soon. I've got 2 different roles loading. They actually load fairly consistently. People are hiding command blocks in here. Sneaky. They're loading, and we have managed to iterate generation, so they are learning. I did not get everything that I wanted to have done for hiders and seekers done. So we've got kind of a pseudo hiders and seekers going on right now. We've got Iron Man, who gets rewarded for attacking Mario, and we've got Mario who gets rewarded for collecting oak blocks. And that's as far as I got on the scores, but I need to stress how immensely complex wiring in the back end for this thing was. I had to completely overhaul our system. And there's a huge chance that there's still bugs in this because I have been working frantically on this today. I coded this up super simple that if their training room role namespace is hiders, they're Mario for now, and seekers are Iron Man. And that's just for now. We'll change how the skins work in the future. What I still need to do, and there's so much that I need to do, is that I'm going to make it so that this screen here, the spawn point stuff, it's going to have some type of filters you can associate with it. And so you can say this spawn point is for this role, or this spawn point's for this team, because that was something I was hoping to have in there, is the concept of teams today. But we didn't quite get that far. I haven't created a reward function for not being viewed yet as part of the problem, or for viewing things. So that's something I'll be working on this weekend, like nonstop. This is a pretty cool little maze. Can I run through here? This is pretty cool. I am super excited. TNT, thank you for building this. I do apologize that I didn't get far enough to use this today. I don't think... Oh, we got scored 2. How did you even score a 2? Hold on. The hiders, he scored a 2. The seekers aren't doing squat. They always target the spawn block. You know what? I'm gonna full screen it for a second. Here we go. We're gonna step over, step over, step over. We're gonna step into that. Okay, here's the problem. Oh my god. I'm an idiot. It all works just dandy. Except ChaosCraft org entity, not Minecraft org entity. I'm an idiot. Okay, let's fix that. Good. Okay, right away, that second breakpoint caught it, so that's good. They're already attacking each other. So we should see Iron Man scoring now. Yep, he's hitting that Mario. I feel like the range on their attacks is a little... He's trying to attack me now. Yeah. Good luck with that one, buddy. I'm tempted to jump into a, like, regular mode. Okay, actually... Okay, this is really messed up, but we're gonna do it. Yeah, that's karma. Oh wait, I did adventure mode. I meant to do survival mode. He's coming after me. I think his range is so far. I can't hit him. Oh, we're gonna try that again. I'm gonna get armored up though for this one. Let's get to this. I need some help here. This tomfoolery. Need my diamond shoes, hat, and let's give myself a shield if I can. Let's do this. Okay. Oh, already on me. I gotta just stand here and wait for one of them to come at me. Haha! No, he's back. Yes! I don't know if he just timed out or actually if I killed him, but... Oh, someone else is attacking me, this guy. I need to make it so that since there's two of them... Go! I think Mario's even attacking me. The range is so long. They timed out anyway. Whew. Okay, this is getting my heart beating a little bit here. Okay, he just killed Mario. He's got a chance he's gonna come at me. Nope, he's taking out another Mario. Okay, it's gonna get some life. So if he does choose me, we can go at it. This is so unscientific and professional. Yep, we're going. The shield is key, just because his reach is so far. Yes, I think I actually got him. I don't think he timed out there. Okay, this is really not productive for them to learn at all.